So after last week with the Mamiya C330, where I had some well-documented focusing problems, the bloody producer decided he didn't trust me anymore to manually focus. He's brought me this weather-sealed Canon AF35ML autofocus, auto exposure, auto wind. All it has is a pop-up flash, self-timer, and that's it. It's so idiot-proof. Conversely, it actually becomes pretty difficult to use because I can't set the shutter speed if I want to do something. I don't even know what shutter speed I'm shooting at, to be honest. You look through it, I don't see anything. It is very 80s. It's not sleek, not elegant. Plastic's cheap as hell. Especially this front part, this is like terrible plastic. There's nothing that I can screw up, I think.
We're here at Sai Wan, an area on the western edge of Hong Kong Island, which features all the trolley ladies that you could ever dream of, and more. Unlike Central, here you can still see a glimpse of old Hong Kong, which makes it great for street photography.
The focus is very silent, but then of course the rewind noise is extremely loud, so don't expect any stealthy shots with this. Let's just hope some of these come out in focus. Okay. So then when we look at these film compacts, I know a lot of you digital photographers out there are wondering, what's in this for me? I'm not sure how much a bloody producer got this for, but he told me under $100 US. So that's quite on the higher end of the spectrum, but it's in great condition. So maybe he went to some kind of like fancy secondhand store to pick it up. But since it doesn't use a mount, you can buy it up with no investment. It's kind of like the X100T, X100S. People who want to get that Fuji sensor, that Fuji look, Fuji lenses, but you don't want to buy into the X mount, you can buy the X100T. And you can shoot Sony or Canon or Nikon as your main, and you can shoot Fuji as your side.
Back at the office, I saw many were on eBay for around $25 to $50, although a few mint condition ones were indeed available for $100.
That was a weird little crumpling sound. Okay, that sounded like it was kind of like crumpled up, like a piece of paper. I'm not sure. You hold it down. Oh, just missed a shot. It does sound like it's struggling. It's like a broken washing machine. All right.
In some masochistic way, I'm glad that they at least left the rewind button up to us. It makes zero difference realistically, but Canon have to leave something for the photographer to do, right?
Kentmere paper. They're from England. I don't know where. Not from Kent, I think. After I got better at darkroom, I started looking at other brands just to try out paper and things. And then I ordered some Kentmere paper online. Now, Kentmere paper was, and it still is, a very small company. They actually got bought by Ilford. I never knew they made film. Their paper is beautiful. It's like really one of the most gorgeous papers around. And I never knew they made film. But everything about this looks exactly like Ilford. But then the price wasn't exactly the same as Ilford films. I asked the store where I bought this from, is it similar to like, Delta 100 or HP5 or something? Any information would be very welcome. But they did say it's a fine-grained kind of film. I'm gonna go with 400 just to be safe. It's actually still made in England. Gotta support my country after Brexit. And then if it's properly loaded, this thing will give a little jiggle. All right, it'll give it like a nice little little wiggle. Look at that. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. All right, now we're ready. Number 1.
Regarding Kentmere film, I did some snooping online, and according to an Ilford rep in some forum, both the Kentmere 100 and 400 are new emulsions and aren't just rebranded. I've only shot a single roll of each film though, but the film isn't bad at all, as you'd expect from an Ilford emulsion. However, the tonal range in the 400 seems a little bit flat to me when compared to Tri-X or the new T-Max 400, which both remain my favorite black and white films. I do, however, quite like the Kentmere 100 emulsion, which you'll see later on the shoot.
Wait, you really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we were gonna go back to get a closer shot of that guy, and I wanted to get a nice shot right in front of him with this 1.9 lens, get a good picture. But a lot of old Hong Kong people, I don't blame them, don't like their picture taken. Even though he's an old man, I don't want to really piss him off because he's got a cleaver, he's just sharpening, so not exactly the kind of guy that you want to accidentally take pictures of. So right now what I'm doing is, I want to get it close, but I don't know how accurate this thing is. So I'm pointing it downwards, closer to me, and then I see the single portrait face, which shows that it's a close focus. And then I'll hold it down, and then I'll move it up towards the angle that I want, in hopes that I'll get, you know, that depth of field coming from the close end going to the far end.
The Canon AF35ML has 3 autofocus distance symbols. You got some with a big nose, you got something out of Space Invaders, and you have a stick of Toblerone. I managed to get everything working as I expected, and the focus was on the correct barrel, but since I couldn't control the aperture, the picture wasn't as shallow as I would have liked with ASA 400 film.
Oh, this place smells like ass. Yeah, this road is like a really stinky road. It's the price of Instagram pure. Let's shoot the rest of this. Canon 100, black and white. Let's go for that.
As the day got on, I wanted a more shallow depth of field, so I decided to load up Canon 100. After a bit of use, I quite like this film actually. It's pretty cheap, and the grain is nice, but most importantly, the tonal range does seem to be a lot more exciting than a Canon 400. It had a very good contrast with enough detail in the blacks and very crisp whites, and still a very good tonal range of grays in the middle.
So in Hong Kong, unfortunately, photographers, they don't find many unique ways to shoot in terms of weddings, okay? And then this spot, you know, people come here and it's actually just nothing, but then, you know, who said we're creative? We're here too. Just run and go for it. All right. Yeah, this is like, everyone usually queues here. The shots all look exactly the same. So then, okay. Oh, that's good. You can hold your hat up.
For what it's worth, autofocus was surprisingly accurate even when on the move. Out of the 4 rolls I shot, only a few frames were out of focus. The main issues were with close-up portraits. Otherwise, the sharpness was excellent even though there's no real way to tell if we were wide open or not. Regardless, when we did manage to force the camera to show some depth of field, the 40mm f1.9 managed to produce some decent bokeh. Not too creamy, but not curdled either.
Okay, so this is kind of the perfect example of when a camera is almost too automatic. It's a little bit too dumbed down to even have many features at all. So then, for example, I can't set the shutter speed. So just now, like, if I want to shoot that at 1/500th of a second to capture the motion, then I can't, because all you can do here is to select the ISO. So then, the good thing is that you can kind of predict what's happening. Right now I'm using Portrait 800 in order to not have any kind of mishaps with exposure or anything. And then 800 speed in this light with a fast lens should be very good. After the bloody producer gave me this camera, I noticed that the ASA setting can only go from 400 down to, oh shit, it's tight, okay. What the f? That doesn't look right. It's jammed somewhere in the middle between 200 and 100. This is like the worst ASA design ever. It's also made of plastic. So it's like, the camera looks beautiful and it's really nice, really preserved, but it's like jammed. Okay, so what happens is if you shoot 800 speed film at 400, what you're effectively doing is pushing up everything by around a stop. So then you will get overexposure a little bit, but for color negative, that doesn't really make a difference because color negatives can absorb a ton of information and they can have a lot of detail in the highlights even when you overexpose by a lot. In fact, a lot of people prefer the kind of washed out, low contrast look you get from pushing up the film. But this is what makes it a little bit awkward for street photography, because if I'm walking around, I'm kind of like, ah.
During our stealthy street snaps, I was pretty surprised that the camera managed to get sharp photos even when I just whipped it out. Although the fact that we were shooting at a really small aperture probably helped. The focusing, as I mentioned, however, is really quiet, but the shutter and film rewind are obnoxiously loud, especially during burst. And here's another thing that's obnoxiously loud.
Okay, go for it. So a lot of analog cameras, we buy them for various reasons. Some are educational, such as the Retina 3C. That's purely kind of an exercise, and it does train you to really learn more about basic camera features. And then you have actual useful ones, Contax G2, the medium format Mamiyas. And then with these ones, they do help you with composition a lot, but they don't tell you anything about how to take photographs. Everything's automated, everything's just done for you. It's not exactly the fastest autofocus out there, but it's pretty fun to shoot, and I quite enjoy using it. Ergonomically, fits in a hand, not too big, not too small, and this lens, I'm curious to see what I can do.
One of my main gripes with the camera is that even though it has this super fast f1.9 lens for the compact, photographers can't automatically select it. It's like a lame version of Russian roulette, where the only shot that comes up bookalicious will be a selfie with your eyes closed. The flash is extremely direct and Terry Richardson-esque if you're into that kind of creepy photography. It's an acquired taste for sure, but it can certainly help freeze action. This camera would be so much better if it were able to shoot in f1.9 or even f2.8 all the time, because even though it's not super sharp wide open, creatively, the option is important. That being said, if you can find this for around $50 and shoot with a film just barely fast enough for the existing light, you may be able to reach that critical moment when your shutter speed is just high enough and your aperture is just wide enough to take advantage of that fast glass.
As we go around the streets, the best thing to do would probably be flash. Luckily, there's almost no pre-focusing time. Oh shit!
What? You playing the role?
Yeah, the last like 10 shots I've been like